Okay, so I have over, I think, 70 books that I bought from Book Outlet and Thrift Books, and maybe about like 8 books from the bookstore that I work at. I'm going to start with the Book Outlet box, the biggest one that I have. And I'm not going to describe every book that I have, but I'm just gonna like show them because there's way too much. This video will be hours long if I go through each description of every book. So I'll talk about the ones that I'm most excited about, which is only like maybe if all of them. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I opened the box here already. Sorry. I know booktubers usually like record themselves opening the box, but you guys don't care. You guys just want to see books, right? Right. Right? Yeah. Right? Right? Right! Okay, let's get started. First one we have here is Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. I'm sure you guys know about that. The other one, Wayfair, the second one is already out. This one is The Drowned Cities by Paolo Bacigalupi. Ha! You can't come in here, I'm making my book video! Anyway, this is a pretty thick book. This is the second book to Shipbreaker, which I bought from Barnes & Noble like a month ago. But anyways, it's about this guy stows away on ships and he steals things. That's how he makes a living until one of the ships that he plans to rob, there's a girl there, and of course, blah blah blah, he falls in love with her and has to choose between like his life of crime or leaving that behind and pursuing a relationship with the girl, blah 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 blah. Of Dreams and Rust by Sarah Fine, and this is the second book to the first installment of Metal and Wishes. The Boys of Fire and Ash by Megan Nick Isaac. Here we go. A Trick of the Light by Lois Metzger. And I'm excited about this one because it's like a take on anorexia, but from the guy's perspective. And I've never heard of anything like that, so I was like, that's really interesting. I'm gonna get that. I have The Death of Us by Alice Coopers. This is basically like your summer romance. Like a girl disappears and then she reappears after like 3 years later. And they're kind of learning how to weave everything back together. Weave. Anyway, it's kind of a funny story by Ned Vizeni. Magonia by Maria Headley. But it is like the best purchase because it's a box set. I love box sets. And it's Red Queen and Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. Then we have Rose Under Fire by Elizabeth Ween. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. About a woman who is a fighter pilot woman, and her plane crashes and she ends up in Nazi territory and she ends up in a concentration camp. Henry VIII by H.M. Castor. And I like books about this genre, like Lancelot and Mordred, and I just really love them. And this is about Henry when he was a young man, so I found that really interesting, and it was only 99 cents. Swords at the top of the page. How cool is that? There's At the Bottom of the Sea by Jonathan David Kranz. I thought that was a nice cover. I don't too much care for these shiny, reflective dust jackets. So we have Second Star by Alyssa Sharmel. It's about this girl. Her 2 brothers go missing and she goes to look for them and finds out that they're hiding away at this magical island. And then it's kind of like Peter Pan type vibe. And the guy that leads the whole group, she ends up falling for him and ends up wanting to stay there on the island with her missing brothers. And we have Gone, Gone, Gone by Hannah Moskowitz. This girl, like this author, I wish I wrote it, but I read another book by her. It's called Teeth. absolutely amazing. Like, it's still on Book Outlet. Please, you guys, go buy it. It's so good. Okay, Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton. Infinite Sky by C.J. Flood. This is Naked by Stacey Trombley. And this is about a girl who runs away at 13 and she ends up in the hands of a pimp, gets trapped in prostitution. It's about Tunnel Vision by Susan Adrian. And this is about a guy, 18-year-old guy, who has the ability to touch objects and get, like, he's a GPS. He can find out where the owner is of the object that he is touching. And so the government find out that he has this ability and they're like after him. Want by Cindy Pong. Honestly, I just got this because he's Chinese and I'm obsessed with Chinese people. Avalanche by Melinda Braun. I guess you guys can tell what this is about. The group of kids go snowboarding and they end up, an avalanche happens and they end up being trapped there. There's Meet Me at the River by Nina de Gramont. And Neil Shusterman, Chasing Forgiveness. This is another author that I am beginning to really, really like. I read a book by him called Bruiser. One of my favorite books of last year. Absolutely. We have Immaculate by Caitlin Detweiler. And I'm sure you can tell what this is kind of about from the title. I'm just going to say she's 16. She gets pregnant and she didn't do anything in order to get pregnant. Never had sex. She's a virgin. Her boyfriend doesn't believe her. Her family doesn't believe her. Her friends don't believe her. And so on and so forth. Then we have Transparent by Natalie Whipple. I think you guys can tell I'm excited about this one. About this girl who is literally transparent. She's invisible. That's her ability. And her dad is like in the drug business. And so he uses her ability to help him get ahead of the game. And then she decides one day that she doesn't want to be used by her father anymore. Oh my god, my sister is outside the window. Her and her mom run away from home to like the Big Apple, I think. And the dad kind of doesn't want to let go. He wants his property back. And so he follows him. It's kind of like cat mouse chase. There's Me, You, Us by Aaron Caro. This is another one I'm excited about. This boy, after some girl breaks his heart and the whole school finds out about it, he comes up with a formula called the Galgorithm. And it's kind of like a romance formula. And he turns into like the guru. And so all the kids in the high school are coming after him for this formula. And he's thinking like, okay, I made a really big mistake. So he's trying to clean up his boo-boo. Love by Jason Shabbat. I am 50% sure that I pronounced that last name right. Yeah, we don't need to know what this one's about. Crying Rocks by Janet Taylor Lyle. And then Life is Funny by E.R. Frank. Focusing Boys, Girls, and Other Hazardous Materials by Rosalind Wiseman. I'm so horrible at this. The Stranger on the Train by Abby Taylor. This one caught my attention, even though it's not really, it's like a movie that I would watch, not necessarily a book. 3-month-old son basically is taken by a stranger on a train, and so she tries to go to the police, but they're reluctant to help her. And so she takes matters into her own hands to get her baby back. There's The Bitter Side of Sweet by Tara Sullivan. This one is about a few kids who are trying to make extra money by working in a field. As time passes, they find that they're stuck there and into labor. They're like forced manual labor and they're not getting paid, and they're like, okay, how are we going to leave? How are we going to get out of this? Before We Go Extinct by Karen Rivers. That's a nice cover, right? It's so pretty. The back's pretty too. Yep. From Norvelt to Nowhere by Jack Gantos. I actually read another book by him called The Curse of the Rombas earlier this year. I read it for like my October spooky month, and that was really good. Blind by Rachel DeWaskin. Those Who Wish Me Dead by Michael Courtier. Let's see what this one's about. I actually forgot. Sending the Boneyard by Gigi Watson. Okay, and that's all you get. Just Change Places with Me by Lois Metzger. That's okay. I have 2 books by her. Cool. I have Perfect by Cecilia Ahern. And this is the sequel to Flawed, which I also have. The actual naked book is nice. Hello, which is the second book of the other book I showed you above by Jason Chabot, which I'm hoping again that I pronounced correctly. And yeah, I kind of told myself that I wouldn't buy a whole series again after I bought the Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout, because I hated that series. But I was so upset that I bought like all 3, well 6 actually, but they're bind ups for me. 3 books without like first only buying and reading the first one to see if I actually liked it before I bought the rest of the series. Sound of Life and Everything by Krista Van Dolzer. What is this? Is a nice cover. Am I right? It's a really nice cover. But we don't need to know what it's about. Deadly Design by Deborah Doctor. And this one, he has a twin, and they were both designed in the lab. His brother died on his 18th birthday, and so he's wondering, like, okay, since there's a flaw in our genetic makeup, like in our design, am I going to die at 18 as well? That's all for this box. Yay! Yay! Okay, but look. Fear not, because I do not do drugs, you guys, but this choker it's the choker. Oh, okay, here's my knife. Okay, this is our next book outlet box, okay? Let's get started. Actually, in the first box of books, I actually ordered 2 books that I already have. This is sad, you guys. Let's do this. I hope there's another coupon in here. I actually got 1 coupon in the big box. After the End by Amy Plum. And then this is In a Handful of Dust by Mindy McGinnis. And I actually have a first one, Not a Drop to Drink. Betrayal, The Fear Street Saga by R.L. Stein. Read by Sarah Crossan. I think the second one is Resistance. Hidden by Donna Jo Napoli. And I've read another one of her books when I was like middle school, but it was called Sirena, and that means mermaid in Spanish. Of course, it was about mermaids. This one's already open, I'm sorry. Natalie by Amy Alward. Magical forests and frozen tundras and things like that. Winter Song by S.J. Jones. I've been wanting this book for a long time, and I've been waiting for Book Outlet to get it, and they finally got it. And so I was like, it is on like Donkey Kong. +1 by Elizabeth Fama. And Magnolia by Christy Cook. Yeah. Rise of Fire by Sophie Jordan. And this is the second book to the first installment, Reign of Shadow. I haven't read that yet, but I just went ahead and picked this up because it was, I think, 99 cents. And then Thanks for the Trouble by Tommy Wallach, and he wrote the book we all looked up. Forgot what that's about. This is Stranded by Melinda Braun, and yeah, it's exactly what it says it is. You know, to be someone who reads as much as I do, I'm not very well worded right now. That concludes our 5 more books from Book Outlet. This is the first order. This is one order, all 5 of these books. And in the second order, I accidentally had it shipped to my old address. And I'm in Tennessee, and my old address is all the way in California, so there's no way I was just gonna, like, you know, pop in for a spell and pick my books up. I was so sad because the first one, I changed my address info, and I thought that it was successful, but it just, like, reverted back to my old address. I don't know how that happens. Ugh. I have Bitter End by Jennifer Brown. Mind Games by Kirsten White. I'll probably do a video of how I delaminate all my library copies. Fragments by Dan Wells. And I have the first one, Partials. Pretty good condition to be used. Guys, bear with me, I'm trying. Yeah, this is Holding Smoke by El Casamano. I tend to gravitate more towards books that have a lead male protagonist rather than female, just because, like, I don't know, like, females are just, well, they're not in general, like in reality, but fictionally, they just make females out to be so whiny and complainy all the time, and it's just annoying. Look at corners of the book, like, okay, there we go. They're usually accurate about, like, the status of the book, the condition of it, like new, used, acceptable. I usually never get acceptable. Look, I'm just realizing that I did it again. I bought a complete series without reading the first one first. Why do I keep doing that? It's just inevitable. I'm just gonna accept it. I bought a trilogy. Look, I did it again. This is another moment where I did it again. I bought a whole series without testing it out first. This one's fine. This is I've read the first book, so, and it was really good. So this is The Prince Warriors by Priscilla Shirer, and it's kind of Narnia but more biblical, like, and it's like spiritual warfare and things like that. So they go to this these group of kids, they go to another world called Aharados, and they are sent on missions and things like that. The second one, The Prince Warriors and the Unseen Invasion. And then this is the third one, The Prince Warriors and the Sword of Rima. I'm getting like into Amish romance books. This is called The Restoration by Wanda E. Brunstetter. A Season of Love by Amy Clipston. A Love Made New by Kathleen Fuller. A Heart Once Broken by, who is that? Jerry S. something something. Mine Were by Andrew Clavin. Book Outlet actually has a lot of his books on their site. He's 18 and he ended up disabled, and so now he just plays like video games because he's so depressed he can't do anything else. A Russian genius has created like this digital world, and he ends up going there to that realm. But he ends up like not wanting to leave because there in that alternate realm, he's not disabled anymore. He can walk, he's fast, he's strong. He ends up finding out that it's not a game and there are no extra lives and blah 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 blah. So Angel Eyes, this is another series. I did it again. I just can't help myself. It is by Shannon Ditmore. This is the first one, Angel Eyes. And it's basically about like demons, like angelic warfare. This is the second one, Broken Wings. Third one, Dark Halo. Doesn't that look so cool? Doesn't he look so cute? So cute. That concludes everything. I'm done. I'm finished. Thank God. Oh wait, there's one more. Nah, just kidding.
I let a party on the weekend. 들어가기 싫어 너가 없는 우리 집엔. 나 지금 취했어. 나 여기 떠나. 준비해. 널 보러 가기 위해. I shut down the party.
I hope my phone doesn't keep going off. Oh, where is it? Okay, anyway. I'm so popular. People be hitting me up all the time. No, I'm just kidding. It's just emails.
Yeah, shut down the party. 오늘은 여기까지. I miss you so bad. Yeah, I need you so bad. I shut down the party. 오늘은 여기까지. I miss you so bad. Yeah, I need you so bad. Yeah, I love my homies. Yeah, they pull up for me. Yeah, they pull up for me. 단 말에 I can do whatever. Yeah, those and more.